If you're feeling nosy today, it'll be satisfied. My sweet construction friends right outside my window decided to wait until exactly when I was ready to film this reset video to start their work for the day. So if you hear them, just send them good thoughts. They're doing great work out there, but I apologize for the audio in advance. Hello and welcome to the second little monthly reflect reset video. I honestly have been looking forward to this one all month because since I did my first reset video last month, this entire month I kept thinking like, oh, I can't wait to talk about the budget. Like I can't wait to see how many books I read this month, see what goals I accomplish, and so I feel very excited heading into this reset. Hi, my name is Anna. If you have not watched a video of mine before, you're honestly going to get to know me a lot just through this reset, so I don't feel the need to tell you all too much up front, but obviously I would love for you to subscribe and join the little community over here on this channel. Same as last month, I'm obviously still kind of working out the kinks, deciding what I like best to include in reset videos and what I find interesting watching other people, so if there are any sections that you particularly love or particularly are like, I just really don't care about this one all that much, let me know because these videos are a work in progress and I would love to be able to include the parts that are interesting and maybe even beneficial to you. So definitely comment and let me know all of that as we get into it. Without any further ado, we'll just start with our first little section here, the monthly reflection. So going back a few months, as some of you know, I graduated in May, and so that was kind of my post-grad month. June and July, I was beginning a new job, so that was kind of the settling in month. August, I worked a ridiculous number of hours every week, and that month really just was my doing too much era. September, the month that the last reset video reflected over, was my exhaust era, just recovering from August and starting to feel finally settled in from all the changing that happened post-grad and new job and all of that. And then October here, I honestly feel like it was a really good month. I feel like a lot got smushed into this month. I had told myself at the beginning of October that I wanted this to be my achievement era, or at least like a kind of getting back on track type of era, and I do feel like that was pretty successful. So things that went well this month. Number one, I got my license as a social worker. I got my LMSW right in the beginning of the month on October 3rd, which just was a very big accomplishment, and I was very glad to have gotten it over with, but then also to achieve that professional goal of mine. As far as my current social work job goes, my license really doesn't change anything at all, not even pay, nothing like that, but it is a license that I will be able to maintain and carry with me into future positions as well. Zach and I went on a weekend trip to North Carolina. That was so fun. Got to see family, got to have a weekend off work, got to just make fun memories in a fun place with fun people, and so that was very rejuvenating. Kind of along that same track, in October, I feel like Zach and I went on a lot of dates, which was just really fun to get to spend time with him. We went out to various restaurants, like celebrated my license by going out to a restaurant. I had one Instagram giveaway for a gift card to one of our very favorite restaurants, and so got to go there. I just feel like at least once a weekend we did something fun, which was really cool. We went on a sunrise hike, like that was awesome. Something else that was very exciting from October was that I finally started laser hair removal, which I mentioned kind of casually in a vlog that honestly is a pretty like low viewed vlog, so maybe some of you don't know this, but I had been thinking about laser hair removal for probably like 2.5 years at this point, but I just didn't really want to ever pull trig on it because I imagined that it would be very expensive, and it is an investment, but it ended up being a lot more manageable to pay for than I kind of had thought it would be. And it also just occurred to me that if I had started when I had first wanted to, I could have been done several times over by now. And so I both got my consult for laser hair removal, and then I also got my first treatment in October, and will be having treatments every 5 weeks now until I'm done. And honestly, so far, like even just after the first treatment, I have noticed a huge difference with just being a lot more manageable. Like I just hated shaving, and lots of times would just get like painful irritation and everything, and so I just have noticed the hugest difference, and I'm very pleased and I'm very excited for the process to continue on forward. I was told that I was kind of the ideal candidate a little bit for laser hair treatment because I guess it really looks for contrast between your skin tone and your hair color, which can't get too much more contrasting than that, but that was something that was new this month that I am very excited for. I feel like it's upping my quality of life, which is dramatic because I've only done one treatment, but definitely something good from October. And then lastly, I feel like I just had a lot of good, actual, genuine mindfulness time. I think in September in my exhaust era, and I kind of had talked about this whenever I did that reset video, I had lots of sort of dissociative rest time, whether it be like watching a TV show, but as kind of a form of escape, or like just like not thinking, or just like melting away on the couch, watching YouTube videos, just like rest that wasn't truly restful or wasn't actually a mental break or anything like that. And I do think I've made more of a shift into doing actual mindful activities where it can be rest, where my brain is actually recharging, which is very cool. So like one instance of that is my crossword book that I have been absolutely loving. I still have yet to finish a full one, but it just has become like a really good mindful activity for me, and I think that that is something that definitely helps with mental health, because having mindful activities is something that can mentally recharge you, emotionally recharge you, give you a break to take away like any burden that you're holding on to yourself. So that was definitely a big contributor into just feeling good, I think, overall this month, is being purposeful with that rest time and actually trying to prioritize things that actually make me feel relieved and rejuvenated and recharged. Genuinely, a lot went well this month. What did not go so well? I had to think kind of hard for this question, which is really good. Like, I feel very lucky to have had a month that is like that. One thing that went a little less well, but it's kind of a mixed bag, is that I didn't do my second job at all. I didn't tutor a single class. The last time I tutored was September 28th, so not at all in October, which definitely was good because it gave me more time in the week, but then also it means that my income was lower than it has been previously, which is okay because I've been able to manage on my income, and we'll get into all of that, all of the nitty-gritty of it later in this video. But also, like, if I were to pick up a class that's literally 3 hours a week, that's not going to put me over the edge mentally and would be some nice income cushion that I definitely could use. And so I do think I'm going to try to get back into that. It just kind of is the mental hurdle of it, since I totally burnt out in August. And I think it's hard sometimes for me to realize, like, I can do my tutoring job without having to work 65 hours a week. Like, there is a middle ground. Like, I can work 1 to 2 classes a week, which is like 3 to 6 hours, and be fine and have actual paydays that are fun and help with my second job. So it's just kind of a mixed bag, but I did feel some guilt for not spending my time earning money, but also like that's okay. So just mixed bag. The other thing that maybe didn't go so well is that I, towards the end of the month, have started to make sure to be going heavier in weights on the gym, but really in this month I was pretty good about going to the gym and being active, which was great because it made me feel really good, but I'm trying to make an effort to actually go heavy and to actually challenge myself, which is something I talk about a lot. It's just the fact that I think it's so easy to get into a rut gym-wise, especially when I just go to my apartment gym. I'm not right now paying for a gym membership or doing classes or anything, and so it's just really easy to get into a rut where it's like you show up, you're like, all right, I'll do some squats, and then just, you know, it's different. It's different. So I've been trying to challenge myself more, and I definitely didn't do that throughout all of October. What challenges did I face this month? So going along with what we just talked about, I would say a definite challenge is the fact that I've been still feeling pretty unmotivated with fitness, and I think part of that is because, like I said, just apartment gym, it's a different kind of vibe than I think would be my ideal, but it's just what's working right now. So the motivation was still a challenge, but some things that helped, and we'll kind of talk about this too later, is I've been going on lots of walks on the treadmill while reading books, and that has been really fun and kind of just a mindful activity, but that is different than lifting heavy weights, and I do want to be lifting heavy weights. So that was definitely a challenge, is still just finding that motivation and kind of getting out of that rut, I guess. Overall, health and energy wise, I do think I did a lot better this month, or just like was a lot better this month compared to September. I did obviously have my sick day after my COVID booster shot, which was featured in a vlog. So I did include that just because it was like a day that definitely was challenging because I did not feel well at all, but also I just took the whole day to rest, so it really was all right. But I do feel lucky that I'm having to seek deep to find challenges this month, because really overall it was a very good month. So some things that I'm grateful for: number 1, Zach. Number 2, cooler weather. And we finally been getting actual leaves changing in Georgia. I guess it took this long to get there, but the leaves are really pretty and I've been loving that. Number 3, a new volunteer opportunity that I have briefly mentioned but have not fully mentioned in vlogs yet, so I'm not really going to go too deep into it, but there is a new volunteer opportunity that I'll be starting in November that I'm very, very excited for, and so I was very grateful that that kind of fell into place in October. And then 4, as superficial as it may seem, I'm very grateful for starting the laser hair treatments, and then I'm also very grateful for the skincare changes that I've been kind of investing in and making lately, which I will talk about for sure. But I just feel grateful that I've been taking the effort to kind of take care of myself in ways that I think I've not always felt like I was entitled to, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that's a feeling that will relate with some people, but it's like I've always gotten cheap skincare and stuff because it's like, oh, well, that's not something I can spend a lot of money on. When really, I cut corners a lot of places, and so if I choose to invest in one area, then I think I've been able to start letting myself do that more lately, which is cool. What habits did I focus on this month? Definitely walking. I had a whole week where I walked for at least an hour every day. That was healing. Reading. I finished one single book in September, and we'll get to this section, but I read a lot more this month, which I'm just grateful for because it's a habit that I really like, but sometimes obviously, you know, it just waxes and wanes with how much you devote into different habits, and so I did read a lot more this month. I've been hydrated. I've been so hydrated. That's a habit. And then definitely a habit I've been focusing on, I wrote in my little notes, skincare times 100, because I really have been trying. I really have been trying with it. And I didn't put any foundation on today, so this is my skin right now. It's not wonderful, but it is better than it has been in the past. Am I satisfied with how the month went? 100% yes. I've already mentioned that this month just was a really good month, but then also every month teaches something. Every month's kind of a different era. Every month you have different focuses. And so I can't imagine that my answer to that question is ever going to be no. I hope it's never no, but I do feel very satisfied with this month. I feel like a lot of things smushed into October. Okay, moving into the monthly favorites section, because this was a highly rated one from last month. Number one monthly favorite is something you have heard me talk about a lot, but I'm going to do the spiel just in case you haven't heard me talk about it, but it's Holiday Skincare. And Holiday Skincare has not sponsored me, but I would love it if they would. Holiday Skincare is a customizable service that lets you tap into experts' brains and know which products are good for you, because I think that was something I always struggled with, was not feeling sure if the products I had were actually helping me or actually hurting me. And I would kind of do some Google searches and go on TikTok, and everybody has something different to say, and it just felt really overwhelming lots of times, I think, with different like skincare experts, and everyone always had like different advice, especially when my skin was really bad. Everyone always has advice of like what you can do to make it better, and I just found that Holiday has really helped me. They have a quiz that you can take, and you can take it with my referral link that's down in the description, but they have a quiz that you can take where it goes into depth of your different skin type, different struggles you may be having, different goals you may have for your skin, basically just what you want out of a skincare routine, even as much so as if you want to spend 5 minutes on it or if you want to spend whatever it takes on it, 3 minutes, one step, whatever it may be. And they let you pick a budget. So if you're like, I'm really just balling on a budget right now and I'm just not trying to invest too much in skincare, but what I do have, I want to make sure it's working for me or at least not harming me further, they let them know like what's already on your shelf, because if there are things that you already own and already have that are doing you well, then perfect, keep those around. But then they also can let you know some things that maybe aren't perfect for your skin type, as well as giving you your own personal store that has actual products recommendations that are good for you. And so I finally have gotten just about everything that they've recommended me, and I'm starting to implement it now, and I really have noticed a change in my skincare, even just from whenever I changed like half of the things. And so I'm excited to see where it will go once I'm fully committed and doing the whole morning, night, and everything that they recommended me. And yeah, just definitely take that quiz. It's something that's been so helpful to me, which is why I stay talking about it in just about every vlog, is because it's been so helpful to me. So I want to share the love, share the wealth, but they have remained being a monthly favorite, which you'll also see once we get to the what I spent in the month section. Next is something that you probably can for sure guess. GT's Peach Kombucha has stayed being a favorite. It's just so good. I feel like I'm gonna mention it in all of my monthly favorite sections because it's still just my favorite. It's another brand I would love to work with at some point. And I think I said this last reset, but if anybody knows GT Dave, let me connect us. I included some clothes last month in my monthly favorites, and I'm doing the same this time. This is actually the shirt that I was wearing in my October reset routine. But Zach has been on a gifting me Lululemon kick, and I know that everyone knows what Lululemon is. It's a brand you've heard of. You know that they're expensive, and the issue with it is that they really just are such good quality. And so I've been getting more Lululemon stuff recently, and honestly it's because the leggings that I bought in 2016 from Lulu have just finally worn out to the point where I can't wear them anymore. 2016 to 2022, and I paid probably, I think it was $98 for them in 2016, which was definitely an ouch to the bank account, but getting 6 years of use of wearing from leggings, it's a pretty good deal. That being said, my current Lululemon favorites, Swiftly Tech long sleeve race tee. I guess the race tee means that it is shorter in the torso, which is perfect for me because Lulu I think is sometimes built for people who are a lot taller than me, and my torso just is not my most elongated feature, and so the race length has been perfect for me. It's been really good just for walks. It's the perfect athletic material, and I mean, you already know Lulu, so I don't have to go too deep into it, but I have really been liking this shirt. Secondly, and I got the tag right here with me so I could actually remember what they are, Fast and Free high-rise tights. I don't know what fabric this is. Maybe it says. It's the New Looks fabric, but it's that thick, kind of shiny, slippery fabric that's perfect for working out. They've got the pockets in the sides, fun pattern, and these feel just like the ones that I was mentioning that I got in 2016 that lasted until 2022. So I am 100% counting on catch me in 2028 still wearing these. They are the 25-inch length because I think that's meant to be 7/8, but on me that's just a full leg. That's the size of my leg right here. Right here it is. So just another favorite. Coming up next, we've got the books that I read, because I actually did read this month, which is different from last month. So I'm gonna pull up the graphs on my story graph. In the month of October, I read 8 books, which was 2,830 pages, which is a ridiculous increase from the month of September, which is good because I had been wanting to read more. Out of these books, my biggest chunk of mood was emotional, next comes reflective, and then sad, and then informative, because I actually read nonfiction this month and a couple memoirs, which is different than it's been recently, but those are the majority of the moods. 88% of the books that I read were medium paced, 13% was fast paced. I'm pretty sure that's just one. Yep, that's just one. 88% of the books were between 300 and 499 pages, kind of just that middle, like regular book length, I feel like. And one of the books was under 300 pages, so just a little bit shorter of a book. Between fiction and nonfiction, 63% of the books were fiction and 38% were nonfiction, which, like I said, is more nonfiction than I've read in a very long time. I used to be a big nonfiction girly, but I just have drifted away from that in the past years. As far as genre goes, and several of these books were multiple genres, so there's about to be more listed than books I read, but tied for first place was memoir and historical. And then I also read some genres of sociology, LGBTQIA+, thriller, romance, politics, literary, horror, fantasy, contemporary, and autobiography. My average star rating this month was 3.66 stars, and that includes 2 5 stars and the lowest being a 1.75 star. Sometimes I think that my low ratings for books shock some people, where they're like 1.75, but I'll show you the little like rating scale that I use. But pretty much 1.75 stars is between not bad and okay. So it's not like that's the worst book I've ever read, but it's also not like I'm going to recommend it to anybody. Yep, but in October it was 2,830 pages, as I previously said, and that's kind of the breakdown through the month of when I read, or when I finished books, I guess you could say. And so these books were in order from my least liked ones to the most liked ones. At 1.75 stars, Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, and I finished this on October 21st. This was a book about kind of ghost wanting to cross over into the afterlife, but he didn't really lead a good life, so he has some reckoning to do in that period of in-between time after he dies, but before he's actually going into the afterlife. And so he meets this little team of people that are supposed to help people cross over after they die, and it just was slow for me. It really was slow, and it was kind of just like a power through to get through, and I also think it didn't meet my expectations of what I thought the book was going to be going into it. And so it wasn't awful, but it was just between that not bad and okay category. It was right, but it wasn't much better than that. Coming in next at 2.25 stars, The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, which I finished on October 14th. This is a book that I thought that I had seen so many people rave about. I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I did, and maybe the opinions have just changed. It just really was not good to me. The plot was so fast, and it was the one single fast-paced book I read this month, but the plot was so fast that I felt like it was leaving me behind, where it'd be like 3 different twists would happen in the same page, to where I couldn't even comprehend that they were twists because I was just kind of confused. And I really just didn't like the narrator, just didn't click with her. It is an interesting premise where it's the final girls who are like the last victims of true crime, like serial killers, whatever it may be, like the ones who actually survive and the person gets caught. They're in a support group and they start getting targeted, essentially. And so that's what I think. The premise is interesting, but it just wasn't for me. At 3.25, Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, which I finished on October 26th. I've heard really good things about this memoir, and I felt kind of bad giving it 3.25 stars with it being a memoir. I know that some people don't rate nonfiction like that because it's like, I'm not trying to rate her experience or anything like that, but I think that I read some really great memoirs this month, and so it was really hard to go from like really great memoirs to what I felt like just didn't hit me the same way. And I understand that that could just be like my experience, and it really would resonate with some people and not me, but it just wasn't one that I'm going to be thinking about that often after reading it. Coming in at 3.75 stars, Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, which I finally finished on October 10th. I had started this over a month before I finished it. It was kind of the reason that I didn't read too much in September, which is because it started moving kind of slow. It ended up being all right. I did like it, but it was kind of interesting. I've already talked about it in some vlogs, so I won't go too deep into it. Another 3.75 was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, which I finished on October 12th. This was a book about a family in the Great Depression and just following kind of their struggle and their hardships and the characters and the character growth. And again, it was all right. It was fun to follow, but I wasn't like too emotionally invested, and it's not one that I've really for real thought about a lot since. But now we get to the good ones. Don't worry, we're at the good ones. So at 4.5 stars, and this is actually the only one that I still physically have a copy of with me, Redeeming Justice by Jarrett Adams, From Defendant to Defender, The Fight for Equity on Both Sides of a Broken System. I talked about this in the Day in the Life vlog, really kind of more in depth, but it is a man who spent 8 years in prison before he was exonerated. So he spent 8 years for a crime that he did not do, and he later went on to go to law school, become a lawyer, and is now fighting to get people who are in the same situation that he was in out of prison. And so really screwed up system, really good picture into the screwed up system, and is written in a way that is very digestible no matter how much or how little you know about law and about the criminal justice system or anything like that. This one is like 100% a recommendation for you. Must read, in my opinion. And if you've ever read The Sun Does Shine by Anthony Ray Hinton, very similar stories. Anthony Ray Hinton spent 28 years on death row though. If you're picking between the two because they are similar, I would say read The Sun Does Shine before this one, but they both really just are different takes and are tough stories, and stories that I know a lot of the world is so sick of being stories that occur in our country, but very good to be knowledgeable and to know the people that they're happening to, and to put actual people and feelings and histories and families to the stories that sometimes you hear in the news. Next, coming in at a 5-star, a book you have definitely heard of, but I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Super tough book to get through. Like, it's not like a good book, like it's not gonna make you feel good, but it is a good book in the sense that I'm so glad that she was willing to like tell us all her story, and it does give a deeper picture into the life of child actresses and teenage actresses, and into just Jeanette McCurdy as a person and her relationship with specifically her mom as she was growing up, and her relationship with herself both as she was growing up and up until where she's at now. Tough book, but good book. 5 stars, definitely recommend. This was not a meaning when I read like a lot of good memoirs this month. And the last 5-star, you personally watched me cry in the vlog whenever I finished this book, but The Riviera House by Natasha Lester. This one just, I don't even know how to describe it so well, but it was so good, and I still think about it. Like, I think I've thought about it daily ever since. But it's a book that has 2 different timelines going on, and both of the timelines are so good that they could each make their own book that I would like tear through. So both of them, such good stories, but the fact that they're interwoven together just makes it even so much better. But it's following a woman in the 1940s during World War II living in Paris who's part of the resistance, and then it's also following a woman in 2015 who is grieving and takes a summer away to the French Riviera just to try to find herself again. And oh gosh, the way the stories intertwine and the characters and their thoughts and their growth, and I cried, and I think you can tell that I loved this book. So I am planning on reading more by Natasha Lester because I haven't read anything by her up until that one, and it has me sold on that author. I kind of learned based on last month that it's really just dumb for me to do a TBR because I never stick to a TBR. Like, I really just, as soon as I finish a book, just pick up the next one I'm gonna read, but I don't know beforehand what that's going to be, so no TBR for this month. You'll have to see in next month's reset video what I end up reading this month, which I've already got some good ones in progress. So alrighty, y'all's favorite portion of this video, and honestly my favorite portion whenever I'm watching other people's video, the money section. In the money section, we will be going over what I made, my income. We're gonna actually go over some YouTube income too, so if you're feeling nosy today, it'll be satisfied. We'll go over what I spent this month, and then we'll kind of go over just a little bit of budget into the next month. So beginning with what I made this month income, I made a beautiful pie chart. Please compliment me on my pie chart. As you can see this month, obviously the majority of my income comes from my social work job because that is where I spend most of my time. That is my true professional career here in this world. And this past month, I made $2,659.95 at my social work job, which is actually just a teeny bit lower than it has been in previous months because I did have some weekends that I took off and I don't get PTO or anything like that. It really is just strictly hourly. If I'm at work, I get paid. If I'm not at work, I don't get paid. So that's the social work monies this month. And I'm filming this on November 1st, so these are like full, complete up until yesterday, October 31st. This is the full month. With YouTube related incomes this month, I made $872.03, and that comes from various different places. As far as YouTube income goes, that is something that I am not touching. It is just going in a savings account. One, for the purpose of saving. Two, for the purpose of I have absolutely no idea how taxes are supposed to work or anything like that. So I'm just putting all of that money aside, and once tax season comes, then we can deal with it, and then maybe I'll touch it at that point. But for right now, YouTube income does not get used by me. And then as far as my tutoring job goes, I did make $223.54 this month. That was at the very beginning of the month. There was a payday that from hours that I worked in September. So I didn't work any hours this month, but I still got a payday from that job this month. Now I made two pie charts for the what I spent categories, and you'll kind of see why. So in this first one, this is the true breakdown of my expenses. Now that big teal category that you see at the bottom there, taking up over half, is my investment category. Investment slash savings, I guess. We'll kind of talk about that, but then I did make another pie chart with that piece just excluded so that we could actually see the breakdown more of the other slices of the pie. As far as the investment goes though, you can see that I invested slash saved $3,500 this month. A lot of that is stuff that I have made and was left over from previous months, so it's not like I obviously didn't make that much this month, but I just had it sitting in accounts and finally actually like diverted it to the places that I wanted it to be diverted to. And so of that $3,500, $1,000 went into my Roth IRA, $1,000 of that went to my individual brokerage account, $1,250 of that went into my savings account, which is YouTube income that I'm just transferring over into my savings account. What was the other? Oh, it was actually $1,500, but I did $1,250 and then another chunk of $250. So $1,500 got moved into savings from like previous months and everything. But in order to get to see the actual breakdown of the other categories a little bit better, I'm just taking that slice of the pie out. That's what this pie chart is. So we can just go around the circle. The biggest chunk, housing, $700.40. That is my monthly rent and the other charges and stuff. Obviously, or maybe not obviously if you don't know this. Hi, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta rent market is crazy. We re-signed for a second year, our lease this month, so our rent did not increase as much as it would have had we moved to a different unit. And also we're splitting a 2-bedroom 3 ways. So 2-bedroom, I obviously share with Zach, and then we also have a third roommate. So that's just how my rent price works out. And also obviously going into this, what I spent, the fact that I do live with a partner, and so we split costs and share things just various ways, which I'm not going to get too deep into just because whenever you're living with someone, it works different for different people and different couples of how that works best. And so this is just what has come out of my account. Let's go counterclockwise just for fun. So clothes, you can see I spent $119.72. The clothes that I got is at the beginning of the month. I got Braves shirts, one for me, one for Zach, because we were going to a Braves game kind of last minute. And so honestly, they were really expensive shirts. I think that was like over 60. I think it was like $70 for a shirt for Zach and I, just because it had the Braves logo on it. But I mean, I guess it was worth it because now I have a Braves shirt, but that was an unexpected cost. And then I also got the dress from Amazon that I was going to be wearing to my cousin's bridal shower that didn't come in time. So now I just have this really pretty dress that I really love that I don't have anywhere to wear it to yet, so I'm gonna need to find somewhere to wear it to. Going on to next is my love for others category, and that is $120.70. That encompasses 2 children that I sponsor through Compassion that I've been sponsoring since early 2020 who live in Bolivia. So it's just a monthly automatically taken out of my account that goes to them and pays for schooling, like weekly bundles of food, just various different things. And then the other chunk of that is that I sponsored one of the youth for Uber Eats that he earned towards the end of the month. It's like if they have good behavior and various other things go into it, but the children where I work have the opportunity to have Uber Eats delivered to them, and this one I just happened to sponsor, so got a lot of McDonald's on Uber Eats. The next category is the Love for Me category. That is $191.77. This category includes my crossword book that I bought. I reloaded my Starbucks card just once and I haven't even used it yet, so it's gonna feel free next time that I do. And then also my laser hair removal charge is in that. They actually weren't even gonna charge me until next month, but I just felt like since I was starting this month, I was like, I'm just gonna make a monthly installment payment this month. So that all goes into that. We'll go into the exact amounts of that once we get to the November budget. Coming up next is the car category. $89.15. This one is more than last month because last month I paid for gas in cash a couple of times, and I just don't include that in my electronic budget because it feels free. But I didn't have any cash this month that I'd happened upon, so all of the gas was just on my card. And we do go to Kroger, and so we get Kroger fuel points, and so some of the fill ups, like my last fill up was $21, which felt nice. But I'm kind of curious if this is a high month or an average month for gas because I've never really tracked it before, so we'll look at that in future months. Coming next is the one category that I feel a little bit ashamed about, but it's okay, I'm getting over it. Health and wellness category, $292.73. What is included in there? My flu shot, which I paid $38.88 for because my insurance doesn't cover it, but I felt like it was important. These nails cost $60, so that's in there. And then the remaining, which you can do the math if you want to, I'm not going to do the math and say the number out loud. The remaining is skincare, which it's going to last me longer than this month. It's going to last me for a while, and like I said, it just has been doing me really well, and so I'm excited to start trying new things. I got a retinol treatment that's in the mail to me right now, which I'm very excited for because I'm just trying to be beautiful. That's what it is. But that's a category that I do hope goes down significantly in the coming months. Coming up next, I have a YouTube related cost that is $166.58. That's my laptop monthly installment. I bought a laptop in September and I'm just paying for it 0% APR over 12 months, so that's that charge. Subscriptions, $10.98. That is a mix of $9.99 Spotify because I don't have a student discount anymore, $9.99 Spotify, and then 99 cents iCloud storage every month. Travel, $467. That is me paying in advance for an EF Ultimate Breaks trip that I am taking. Something that's different because, as you maybe know, I'm an EF Ultimate Breaks ambassador. But now if you want to get $100 off through your first trip through me, then you just have to click the link in my bio. There's not even a coupon code anymore. If you go through the link, then it will automatically apply. And their Black Friday sale, which has up to $1,200 off some trips, is coming up. So definitely go check out that website so that you can sign up for early access and go through my link so you can get an additional $100 off on top of that. But yeah, $467 is just what I'm paying because I only have 3 more months, I believe, until that's fully paid off, and it's going to be fully paid off a couple months even before I go. So that's that chunk this time. What else? House stuff, $32.10. That's whenever we went to bargain bins in North Carolina. It was incredible. I just didn't have a category to put it in, so I put it by itself in house stuff. And then for food total, what I spent this month is $138.87. So if you were feeling nosy today, I hope I fulfilled that for you. Looking into November, just kind of budget with me type deal. November expenses that are planned, that are fixed, that are going to happen. Rent, $700. I'm going to be sending $750 to savings. That's my goal. My EF Ultimate Break trip is going to be $467. Spotify, $9.99. iCloud storage, 99 cents. Laptop, $166.58. Laser hair removal, $165.59. The fact that those are within $1 of each other is really just pure coincidence. Like, I don't know how it worked like that, but yeah, my laptop installment and my laser hair removal installment I'm using a fancy word without actually knowing if I'm using it right. Payment. Nails, I'm budgeting $60 again just because I'm gonna have to get them filled at some point in November. Gas, I've never budgeted for gas before. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be $100 though, and then whatever it is under that will be savings, I guess. My goal is to put $1,000 into my Roth IRA again this month, especially because we're coming up on the end of the year and I have not reached my maximum that I can each month, so I'm trying to plan for that retirement, baby. But all of that together in total is $3,420.15 of my projected fixed costs, and my projected income for the next month is $3,600. So we'll kind of see how that goes, and obviously in the next reset video we'll see how that goes in depth, but there's not too much room to spare just based on the different things that I've kind of invested in, such as laser hair removal, the laptop, etc., those types of things. Hope that money section was fun for you. Our next section, this is a new section, but just going over some YouTube analytics. So whether you are a YouTuber yourself and are curious, or if you are just curious behind the scenes of this particular job that I have, we are going to do a little screen record. So this is the dashboard. As you can see right now, November 1st, I am starting the month with 2,336 subscribers. Latest video performance over here was that just regular day in the life of a social worker. That was posted on Sunday. It is ranking 7th out of my previous 10 videos, which is fine. It has 209 views at this current time, which is about exactly typical for my videos. Its click-through rate is 5.9%, which is again about typical. And then its average view duration is a little bit lower, but also it's a shorter video, so that makes sense. But it's 550 as opposed to the regular 835 to 856. But what you might be more curious in is the actual analytic part here. So when we look at these channel analytics, oh, this says 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I just lost a subscriber. Rude. Come back. I am going to change this up here to October so we can be looking at that month. In October, I posted 7 videos, which is an increase by 1 video from September, but in October, I think I did bi-weekly except for the beginning week, so got back up to that 2 video a week type of grind, which was kind of nice. As you can see, I got 12.6 thousand views, which was definitely an increase from September. As you can see, it's up. And these peaks that kind of happen throughout are when the videos get posted. So Sunday uploads get more views for me than Thursday uploads right off the bat. I don't know for sure why that is. It's probably just with y'all's schedules and everything, which is totally fine. But the fewest views I got in one day this month was 257, and the most was towards the end, October 27th and October 30th, both tied for 510. So watch hours just briefly kind of mirrors that with how many actual hours people are spending watching on these videos, which is a crazy number for me to think about. Like the fact that on October 9th, 62 hours out of people's days, like various people's days, it could be just 5 minutes by each person, but were spent watching videos that I created. That part's crazy. As far as subscribers go, I gained 221 subscribers this month, which is really cool. That's the highest growth that I've had in a month since I began YouTube. So that's crazy to me because that means that 221 more people are here than even like when I was making this monthly reset video last time. So that's crazy, but love that. And then we can even kind of look, so in the see more category, oh sorry, part of this cut off for you, but the videos that got me the most subscribers this month are the day in the life of a social worker in jail that I published in March of this previous year. That one ranks in search, so whenever people search for social worker, or day in the life of a social worker, that's one of the first one that pops up, so I get a lot of new viewers from there, but that gained 22 subscribers this month. There's a what I wish I knew before I majored in social work video. That is one of the very first videos that I made back in January 2021 that has really just taken off in the past, I would say since May of this year is when it's really taken off, which is cool. And also it's one of the better videos from the early days, so I'm glad out of all the videos that it's that one. But it's just kind of funny to me because that video spent over a year barely getting any views, and then all of a sudden, I forget what it's at right now. I think it's at like 8,000 total or something like that right now. But yeah, that one comes next, and some other ones that got subscribers: strengths-based perspective for social work, ecological systems theory for social work, honest MSW experience, all you need to know about social work field placement. It's really those searchable videos that get people to this channel, and then lots of times y'all stay, whether that's for the vlogs, the lifestyle content, or just kind of waiting on more educational social work videos to come out. But that's just kind of a cool thing to see, I feel like. But as far as AdSense revenue goes, so this is the like cents that I get each time that someone watches an ad, or like those skippable ads shows up, or even those banner ads that are on the side of your YouTube page. Sometimes the ones that show up as a little like thing that you can X away, a little box you can X away on the actual video itself. And this isn't complete because it's a day delayed in determining the revenue, and so this one does not include the 31st. As you can see, there's that little chunk there. My guess is it'll add about $3 more or something like that. But my revenue was $122.03. And as you can see, the highest paid day was October 27th, which was $5.71. If you remember, that was one of the days that had the highest views as well, so that makes sense. And then the day that I made the least was tied for October 7th and October 22nd at $2.38 per day. With this monthly AdSense revenue, I think it's going to be about the exact same as September, depending on what the 31st made, because you can see September was 125 even, and then right now we're at 122.03. So depending on how much was made yesterday, I think it's going to be about even, which is kind of a bummer because, as you remember, I posted one more video in October, so it's just kind of up and down sometimes with how that works. How viewers were finding my videos this past month: 35% was through YouTube search. As I kind of mentioned, I do have those searchable videos that get people to the channel, and then they'll stay usually for the vlogs, but lots of times the just kind of everyday work week vlogs definitely don't take off as much as that searchable content does. So that makes sense to me that most people come from YouTube search. The search terms that get the most people: social work, social worker day in the life, social worker, social work major, day in the life of a social worker. So I mean, all of that checks out. Yep. And then after that comes suggested videos, which is awesome because that means YouTube is recommending my content to people. Browse features, same thing. Channel pages, which usually I think means that people are coming from like TikTok or Instagram or a link from somewhere, because channel page means you're sitting on my channel page and then you click on a video. So you have to already be on my channel page for some reason. You know, it's different than putting a search term in the YouTube search bar and then finding me through there. And then external is anytime that anyone comes from a different website. So as far as external goes, most of it this month was Google search. Some of it was YouTube. I don't know what that means because YouTube isn't external to YouTube, so I don't know what that means. Yahoo search, Facebook, Google Docs. I don't know what Google Docs I'm on, but people are clicking on some Google Doc link that has me and coming to my videos. The top videos for this month were the ecological systems theory. That checks out. It's usually like that, but it gained 1.6 thousand views, which that's such a funny video to me because it's one of the very first ones. Actually, it's the second video that I ever posted on this channel. So the content is good, the production value is not, but it is by far the most viewed video on the channel, and it's been that way since, I would say since like early 2021 is when it kind of started taking off. But I've also heard that a lot of times it's used in classes or used for assignments, which is cool. But the funny thing, and if you came from that video, let me know if you noticed this, I had gotten my wisdom teeth out the day before that video, and so I am a big old chipmunk, and I'm like lisping all over the place because I can't talk because I'm all swollen because I just got my wisdom teeth out. And that's the video that last I checked, I think it was like 22,000 people total had seen. It's embarrassing. But other than that, the What I Wish I Knew Before I Majored in Social Work, like I said, that one really just has been taking off. Day in the Life of a Social Worker, the same one like in jail, March 2021, makes sense. A Complete Guide to UA Housing. I made a video all about the dorms at the University of Alabama, which is very, very niche, but the people who need it seem to be finding it. It ranks in search, so that's good. And then strengths-based perspective. Moving over into audience, what this shows is through each of the days, the purple line is returning viewers, so people who have watched previous videos of mine and have clicked on the video to watch another one. And then the blue line is new viewers, people who have never watched any of my videos before. So it's kind of cool that that new viewer line is always more than that purple line, except for, what's this day? October 9th. That's whenever I posted that licensing video, so a lot of people who were subscribed clicked on that one. But that is cool because especially since I am a small channel at this point, it's nice that people are finding it and kind of coming in, and people who have never watched the videos before are seeing what videos there are here, what information I have to offer, all that type of stuff. As far as you guys go, watch time from just like anyone who has watched the video, 67% of people are not subscribed, 32% are subscribed. That's actually a better ratio than it has been in the past. A lot of times my not subscribed watch time is higher because, like I've said, my videos get assigned in like class assignments and things like that. So people will be watching the videos who really just like aren't interested in subscribing, which is totally fine. But because of those searchable videos, lots of times it is people who are not subscribed that watch my videos. So my challenge for you, if you're still watching at this point, is to make that be a better ratio. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe if you're watching this video, and we'll see if next month we can beat that 32.7% subscribed. As far as you guys go, age and gender only shows female and male, so that's YouTube's fault. I apologize. But what it shows for me is that 83.5% of you guys are female and 16.5% of you guys are male. And as far as age goes, 45.4% 18 to 24, 25 to 34 years old is 42.8%, so just about even right there. And then a couple people are 35 to 44 years old, with 0.8% being 45 to 54. So if you're one of the 45 to 54 year olds, let me know. Where are you at? Represent. Then I already showed you the estimated revenue for this month. Again, it's estimated because that last day hasn't fully been filled in yet. RPM and CPM are kind of just YouTube terms, but basically what you need to know is RPM, that rate, changes. I don't really understand how or why, but it changes, and that's how much I would get paid per 1,000 views. So the average in September was $9.95, with the highest being 13.76 per 1,000 views, and then I don't even know which one of these is the lowest. I think 723 is going to be the lowest. Yeah. 723 is the lowest on October 18th. Again, that could mean that I get more views on October 18th than I did on October 23rd, but make the same amount because the rate was different each day. I don't really understand it. I do believe that this is lower than September. Just click to September real quick, because September had some sort of weird anomaly happen on the 30th. I don't know what happened there, but I made a lot more on the 30th because that rate doubled. If anyone knows what happened there, let me know. I feel like it's a glitch, but oh well. Top earning content are the same videos as the top viewed content, but you can see that the order switches up a little bit, which is kind of interesting, and that is just based on how much advertisers pay to have their ads before those videos. Kind of an interesting section. Maybe you're interested, maybe you weren't. I don't know if I'll do that section necessarily every month, at least to the full depth of that, but I do think it's kind of interesting even just for me to track as the months go by. Finishing up here, because this has been a 3-hour long video, a goals update, some goals that I had set for October, YouTube wise, was to lower the pressure for myself. I feel like I did do that. I feel like I really enjoyed all of the videos that I put out this month, and I didn't feel the sense of everlasting stress that I necessarily had in September. I had a goal of getting 2,500 subscribers. Obviously that didn't happen. Goals like that are always just so arbitrary because like I have some control in like putting out content, but I don't have any control in who's actually subscribing. You know, like if it gets pushed to the right people who do want to subscribe, perfect. but I've never felt a lack in my number of subscribers. I've always just felt astounded that many people would want to watch the videos that I'm making, and so I feel very, very happy with where my subscriber count is at, and any time it grows at all, it just makes me so warm and happy inside. And so I don't feel like bummed at all that we didn't reach 2,500 subscribers. I'll just keep that number the same for the next month, just because it'll be a fun milestone to celebrate when it does happen. And then I also had the goal to learn and get comfy with Final Cut Pro, which was the new editing software that I was using with my new laptop. I feel like I have learned it. I don't think I've learned it to the full extent of capacity that it actually has, but I'm working on it. My fitness goals were just to continue with what I was doing, to prioritize dedication over motivation, as in still showing up at the gym on the days that I don't want to, and I wanted to go on more walks. I definitely 100% went on more walks. As I previously mentioned, I had a week that I walked for over an hour all 7 days, and it was wonderful. It changed my soul. And then the other two I think I'm just going to keep for the next month, and just kind of the addition that I will be wanting to do more heavy weights and try to really prioritize that, and getting strong and staying mobile and just all those things. Just every month I think I'm trying to make sure I stay dedicated. My professional goals for last month was that I wanted to get my license, and I did, so success. And then my habit goals for last month was that I wanted to, in quotes, I wrote read a bit more, LOL, and I did. I read 7 books more. So looking into the next month, as far as November goals go, I'm just going to keep that subscriber count the same, just a goal to hit 2,500, and I think with the rate that it's been going, I'm pretty sure 2,500 will get hit in November, so that's exciting. That's super exciting. I'm going to make the goal of $150 in AdSense, which is a pretty big jump, so I don't actually know how attainable that is, but it just felt like a nice even number. So the goal is $150 in AdSense, and then my goal is to create and put out at least 8 videos in November, with at least one of them being a sit-down video. As far as fitness and health goes, I am going to put a number on my workouts this month, which is kind of new, but I'm just going to try it out and see if this tracking helps me stay dedicated. But out of the 30 days of November, I'm going to try to get 25 workouts in the gym in. And those can be varying degrees of difficulty, and I am going to include cardio if I go to the gym to do cardio, or if I go on like an hour-long walk or something like that. But the goal is 25 workouts. Other goals are continue walking and continue that dedication over motivation mindset. As far as professional goals go this month, I don't really have too many because I feel really satisfied with the license that I got this past month, but I'm just going to pursue that new volunteer opportunity that I mentioned earlier and just kind of see where that goes. So I know that that volunteer opportunity isn't like a goal in and of itself, but just like its existence is going to be my goal of like, okay, let's dive into that. As far as habits go with the goals, I'm going all in on skincare, which we kind of talked about it before. You can see here, the way my skin has improved is that I don't have any active breakouts anymore, but I do have a lot of like dark spots and redness. As you can see, like all of this is flat on my face. It's not active spots. It's just left over from previous breakouts, and so the improvement is that they're not active breakouts, but obviously there is improvement that can be made there. So I'm hoping that the retinol that I'm going to start will help with that at least a little bit. We'll just see, and then just continue reading. So I'll put a little calendar on the screen of my planned November. As you can see, there are a lot of work days going on, and then I have 2 trainings that I'll be completing for the volunteer position. All of this will be vlogged. I have 2 separate book clubs that I'm going to try to go to because I have been absolute trash at my social life. Yeah, really bad at it. And so one of these book clubs is one that I've gone sporadically in the past. I think the first one I went to was in April or so. I went in April, I went in June, and then now I'll be going in November. And then another one of them is a new book club that I haven't been to yet that I'm just gonna try out. And then for Thanksgiving, I do get to spend 4 days at home. So I'm actually flying home on Thanksgiving because I have to work the day before, but I fly home on Thanksgiving, and then I'll be there until that Sunday. So that's kind of just the basic of how November is going to lay out. I'm not going to do a big outro because, like I said, I think this video is going to be 3 hours long, but obviously remember just to let me know which parts of this you do and don't enjoy, and if there's anything that I left out that you would like to be included, let me know, because these videos are definitely in transformation. They are definitely able to be shaped to what can be the most interesting or beneficial or anything like that. Remember to subscribe before you go, because we're trying to beat that subscribed to not subscribed ratio that was in this month's video, and I'll see you next time.